What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another Transfer Targets episode. This time we are going to be looking at the right-back situation at Spurs. Obviously, it looks as though Serge Aurier is going out the door, which will leave Matt Doherty as the only recognised right-back at the club. And it also remains to be seen if we want to get rid of him or not. But that's a conversation for another day, as today we're going to be looking at kind of realistic right-back targets who we could potentially sign this summer. And yeah, there are quite a few out there. And let's start off with the first one that we've had a look at, and that is Max Aarons of Norwich. We valued him at around 30 million. He's someone that's been linked with us time and time again, to be honest. He's also one that Jose Mourinho didn't like the look of because of his physicality and his height and what have you. But I think he's one that we should be looking at, to be fair.
Yeah, I think under a new manager with a different kind of priorities and what they want at fullbacks, I think Max Aarons could be perfect. Extremely pacey, very, very quick, able to press very effectively, and also his contributions in the final third is quite a decent dribbler, and he's able to, not maybe his crossing and maybe isn't that great, but he's very decent about making little passes in around the penalty box and stuff like that. So I think he is one. I know Norwich getting promoted, but he's definitely one. He's English as well, so I think he kind of ticks all the boxes on that front. I know he's a bit on the shorter side, but we've seen short right backs, or we've seen the full backs not be the tallest, but be very effective, and he could definitely fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Rose wasn't exactly the tallest left back, and
Roberto Carlos wasn't either.
Roberto Carlos, but yeah, I mean, Danny Rose wasn't the tallest right back, and he was brilliant for us for a time, wasn't he? So. Yeah, I think that's spot on about Max Aarons. But let's move on to the next target, and that is Matty from Aston Villa, who we've valued at around £20 million. He's had a fairly good season at Aston Villa. I mean, he's good, but he hasn't convinced me that he's the answer to our right-back problems.
No, he's one who has had obviously his first season at Villa after signing for about 18 million. So he might be a tiny bit more expensive than 20. But I think, again, another English right-back who has had a very solid season. Maybe he's not the perfect right-back. He's kind of one of those right-backs who's kind of a jack-of-all-trades, master of none. He's not the quickest, but he's not slow. He's not the best going forward, but he's not terrible either. And he's also not a liability, so he's quite a solid right back, and he's one who can be quite dependable for us, and I think he's done a great job with Aston Villa. So and I mean, with England having so many good right backs, it's hard for him to get anywhere near a look in for the England squad, but I think he's a solid right back. All right,
let's move on to the third choice, and that is Zeki Çelik from Lille. Obviously, he just won the league in France. We valued him at £23 million. He was one also that was heavily linked with us last summer, but we ended up going for Doherty instead of him.
Yeah, I think maybe because we were looking at someone Prem proven, that kind of stuff, but it hasn't really it's kind of backfired a bit, the whole Doherty thing. I think Zeki Çelik's price might have risen a bit, but with Lille winning the league and stuff, but with Lille potentially having money troubles, they definitely might be convinced to sell this summer, and he has had a very good season for them. I think maybe he's a bit better than we thought he was last summer, and maybe he's someone who we should a lot more seriously consider this summer than we did last summer, because we kind of brushed over him last summer as someone who's a bit average, but he's proven this season that he's actually quite a good right back.
What's his attributes? Like, is he pacey? Is he what's his attributes?
Yeah, he's not. He's fairly quick, and he's very solid defensively, and he's got quite a decent cross on him as well. So
what's his flaws then?
But he's not like unbelievable. He's not like, doesn't have Walker's kind of pace. He's like maybe a better version of like Matt Cash, basically.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next option, and that is Denzel Dumfries from PSV, who we valued at around £25 million.
I think it's Denzel.
I haven't seen him play much, to be fair, so this is your pick. So what have you got to say about
this
him?
one is one who's very, very pacey. I think he had quite a bad injury, I believe, last year, but he's really come back into it this season. He's extremely offensive right back, really good in the final third, and I think he's 25 years old. He's also quite big physically, like over 6 foot, and he's very pacey. So he's one that could very well tick all the boxes for us. The only question is, defensively can be found wanting a bit, but I think in terms of an offensive right back, there are not many better than him. He might be the best on the list.
It'll be nice to have him and Reguilon bombing up those wings a bit like Carl and Danny.
He could really dominate a wing. Dumfries. So as well, he's at PSV, so he's definitely one who could be attainable. So he's definitely one. He would be one of my top picks.
And obviously he would know Steven Bergwijn very well as well, wouldn't he?
Bergwijn will know him well.
So yeah, that could be a very viable option. And let's move over to Tariq Lamptey of Brighton. Market value, we've put it down as around 40 million, but he's had a brilliant season for Brighton, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he did have an injury, didn't he, on March time or something, that ruled him out for the rest of the season, unfortunately for him. But I think before that, he was actually one of the top right backs in the league at the time when he was performing. Like his ability to get into the final third with the pace he has is very, very impressive. And I think he really worked well in that Brighton system. Potter got him playing really well. However, he was playing predominantly a bit like similar to Doherty. He was playing in a predominantly back three on a right wing back position, so he had a lot more freedom, which probably helped him. But he definitely used that. Like the amount of penalties and stuff he would win in the box and things like that was very impressive. And he's one who can definitely mould him into kind of what you want him to be. But he's similar to Aarons in terms of very small, not that physically intimidating, but very pacey and very tricky.
So out of those 5, who would your number one option be?
I think Dumfries.
Dumfries and then?
Dumfries and then Aarons.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like
some
I
good
said,
options there. I think there are some good options there.
Like I said, I haven't seen Dumfries play that much, but from what you've explained about him, then yeah, I think he does sound like the best fit if we are going to go back to that system, a Poch system or what have you under him or a different manager. It remains to be seen. But if we're going to go back to that system, I think we need someone who can really occupy those spaces and really attack down the right-hand side.
Definitely.
So that could be him or Max Aarons. But those are the options we spoke about today in terms of Max Aarons, Matty Cash, Zeki Çelik, Tariq Lamptey, Dumfries. Let me know in the comment section below who your pick would be. And also let me know in the comment section below if you think there's any other viable options that we could be going for at right back. That is your options. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.